Hello, and welcome to Roseplay Season 13, Episode 194, the review and season finale of Dragon Age Inquisition. As always, we're your hosts, Orrington Rose and Saul Wildfire. And like I said, today's the season finale, almost 200 episodes worth of Dragon Age. Now, hopefully this doesn't go green screen, but if it does, I do apologize. But anyway, we'll start with the introduction of the game. It was the third game in the series. There's been 3 Dragon Age games. There's been 1, 2, 3, which 1 and 3 had subtitles, 2 did not. It was literally just Dragon Age 2. Whoops. So, even though 1 and 2 didn't heavily take choices and consequences from the first and second game, it did still kind of, I guess, acknowledge that you existed. Like, hey, we had a hero who sat there and stuck a sword up somebody's butt. Well, that's a weird thing to do, but okay. And there's many more stories through books, a few mini-movies, something like that. Yeah. And there's even a few cell phone games. The U.S. never got those, though. Sadness.
They banned them because they're too.
I don't honestly know why they did. Because it seemed like a RPG. Like, these 3 things attack these 3 things, whoever wins, yay.
Oh.
But for whatever reason, it never came to the US, so I don't really know what to think about that. So, let's go ahead then. I mean, that's pretty much the introduction to the game.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that the story is basically, you start off as this random person that you create. What was it, like 5 different races or something?
Something like that. I could have sworn 4, but
maybe. Let's see.
Wrong.
Humans, dwarves, elves,
Mage.
Quinari. Mage is a subclass.
Oh, okay, Quinari, whatever.
Yeah, so you're right, 4. I was wrong on that. And basically, you wake up to an explosion and you're under arrest. Come to find out, yep, broccoli came from your hand. A rift or something's on your hand that can close these other rifts. And basically, they've ripped into reality and is trying to destroy the world.
Broccoli of all time.
So the main quest of the story is to take out the broccoli.
Yep.
The broccoli portals, and try to bring peace back to Thedos. And then more stuff happens that we really won't quite get into right at the introduction. So spoilers ahead, maybe, as we continue. So let's go ahead and start on gameplay and controls. Now, I know you can't say much about the controls too much, or the gameplay for the first 2 games.
Nah.
So I'll go ahead and talk about that first. And then before I give you my opinions on the gameplay and controls, I'll see what you have. Alright, so what the gameplay does is that it mixes a little bit of Dragon Age 1 mechanics with Dragon Age 2 mechanics. So it kind of feels like the days of yore, where it was kind of a hand down like Diablo, and you can see multiple people, except I guess the camera's a little bit more behind your shoulder.
Yeah.
Which is what Dragon Age did. But they kind of brought back the combat abilities. Like, you could freeze and tell your people, hey, do this, that.
Yeah.
So there was that. You can control 1 of 4 people, as well as give out tactical orders, which is what I was just talking about. And thankfully, if your main character dies, the game's not over. So the more people die, the easier it is for you to die, especially on harder difficult. Let's see. Running an Inquisition by keeping up with members, judging people, and acquiring upgrades for your Inquisition. So this is where it gets a little bit different. In one, your party that you had, you gave gifts and stuff and conversations. In two, you kind of did the same thing. In this one, it less focused on the conversations and more progressing through the Inquisition ranks and just kind of doing stuff for them. Kind of errand mission based this time.
Yeah.
Oops. Alright, so that's really all on the gameplay differences between 1 through up to 3, not 1 through 3. So, just for the gameplay, the feel of it, not the controls, yeah, my fault. What were your thoughts on the gameplay of Dragon Age?
Pretty standard. I mean, there's one button to shoot. There's one, the mate.
Lightning,
yeah,
fire, ice.
Lightning. I don't know what it is. Lightning?
He can shoot lightning. His elements are fire, water, lightning, and spirit.
So it is lightning.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's textures. Yeah, there's like one button for that. Everything else is movement. Back. All pretty basic.
So then, how did you feel that the gameplay and the controls felt compared to some games? Was it easy to get into? That kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, it was practically like any other type game that you'd have to switch off between, like, I don't know, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You switch off between people. Like,
yeah.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, no, and I agree. 1 and 2 were just about the same. So this is an easy game to pick up if you haven't played any of the Dragon Ages. And, I mean, the gameplay was alright. So, for the controllers, like she said, everything was kind of one button, but every button combination you put, whether you were moving forward, jumping, felt very responsive. However, there was this time in the game, which was recorded every time, whenever my character would cast fire, like, he would stop attacking.
Oh.
Like, you could hold the RT button so they would do insta-attacks, and you could shoot lightning, shoot ice, whatever, cure, and you keep doing it. But when I try to do an explosion, my character's like, explosion! Okay, you're not attacking anymore.
Huh.
So, I mean, the controllers felt really responsive, but it also seemed like some of the moves broke the character for a moment, at least. There were a few bugs and glitches, characters getting stuck, a few times when characters fell when thing was loading. I think the major thing was objects not loading and missions missing continuation. So, I mean, the mission... Okay, so for the most part, there was no missions that couldn't be completed except for one. You weren't around for this time. But there was this one guy I had to take down, and I had to go up to him. Well, he disappeared. I never could find him. He never showed up again. So I couldn't complete a mission.
Oh.
Kinda sucked.
What if I were to just...
Pretty much, he was like, but if I go poo, you can't. Yeah, you can't get nothing, including me. But for the most part, I only got stuck a few times. Like, maybe I was trying to... And really, it was kind of my fault. I was cheating the system. I was trying to climb a hill and jump off from the top. That wasn't supposed to be as climbable, and I get stuck in these crates. It was fixable, though. All I had to do was switch to one of the other characters and wait for my character to teleport.
Yeah.
So, there was no groundbreaking glitches besides that one. And it wasn't even a main objective mission. I could obviously skip it, otherwise we wouldn't have finished the game.
Yeah.
So control-wise, the controls were pretty simple, and there really was no bugs and glitches that were life-altering. So when these bugs did, or glitches did happen, it did take you out of the game for a while. Minus the funny ones where all of a sudden your character's halfway in the ground and pops up when you're loading, and then you're getting a quick little laugh. In the short amount of time that you played, was there anything that you came across, glitches, break-wise, that bad?
I think it's just the horse.
What happened with the horse? I don't remember.
I don't know, weird things, like, you wouldn't get on him right. Like, all of a sudden, like, I would try to get up on him, and I would be, like, getting on him and stuff. It'd be going on.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Horse, you, and then pops over. Yeah. So again, takes you out of the reality of the game, but it doesn't.
It's awkward. It's awkward.
And the last thing to talk about was the one-button mapping for class moves and abilities. The great thing is as you leveled up, you unlocked new moves, and you could assign those moves to buttons, which made it kind of easy to use rather than opening up a menu.
Yeah.
That really makes the game a lot more fun. Okay. Oh, speaking of graphics and reality, that's the next section that we are going into. So, the graphics look more realistic most times, with a few, sometimes when you load the game, there were loading issues and frame rate drops, which made it blotchy and low resolution. Like, there were some times where some things didn't load for a little bit. There was times when the graphics felt like on one of those old tube TVs. But for the most part, I mean, even though Dragon Age did come out towards the beginning of the cycle for Xbox One and end of 360, the graphics weren't the worst.
Yeah.
The graphics reminded me of real life mixed with a little cell shaded.
Yeah.
So for you, how were the graphics?
I don't know, kind of like mystical and like.
So really more going into the reality aspect.
Yeah, kind of like ancient, like, I don't know, kind of reminded me of Fable's graphics. Very like mystical. Like, but I mean, in all reality, it's not supposed to be the most wonderful, perfect graphic type thing.
Well, yeah, and especially since again it was at the beginning of the cycle, and technically it was ported over from 360.
Yeah.
But I mean, the graphics are still better than Fable 1.
Well, it's like Beauty and with the.
That's
like,
true.
Like the Quinaris, they're probably really hard.
Probably. But I will say that for the most part, going into the reality aspect before I actually go into. Oh, I guess it is the next one. So it seems to be mostly based in some reality, with a lot of mythological creatures, magic, and pretty sure it's a different world. I don't think it's Earth. At a different time. Like whether it's the future and mankind destroyed itself or the past when things were around. Yeah. Some things I could see in ours. Like, for instance, I mean, Dragon Spring. I mean, technically I could see them existing because they do say that dragons did exist. I really don't know if that's true. But I mean, I could see dragons. I could see some of the enemies, since they were like huger bears and whatnot. It just made me think of the Megalodon, but for like bear form. So personally, in my opinion, for the most part, Gurglodon. For the most part, I thought this game was based in reality, but at the same time, like you said, in a fantasy setting, especially since it wasn't Earth. Because if it wasn't Earth, it makes sense that these things might exist. So, how did the reality seem to you?
There's a horse.
There's a horse. Yeah, but I was riding a dead horse.
Which glitched.
Which glitched still.
Terribly. But, otherwise, a lot of the creatures.
Existing.
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, besides the bear, which is kind of obvious. And, you can kind of see a dragon. Not if it was a dinosaur, maybe. I kind of believe we're in the dinosaur aspect.
Right, and I mean, yeah, it could be some mix between a pterodactyl and a Tyrannosaurus Rex who decide, let's get it on! Yeah.
Or that they thought was a dragon, which it really was just a pterodactyl.
That's a possibility. Okay, but pretending that this took place on another world, would this seem like a reality to you?
No.
Nope, still no.
I could never see this existing, but
All right.
never in all worlds. I could not see this.
Okay. Now, I would hope you would agree with me on this next part, though. Compared to some fantasy realities and some fantasy worlds and games, this does feel closer to ours, and they have thought out a lot of the lore in the books, from the graphics, definitely closer to real world than some of the stuff that we've seen in our lifetime.
I mean, if you compare it to being in a war, kind of having one person or the other, I can give it like how like people with different religions fought. Like,
You know, and I honestly believe that's probably true, because there was the war for a Holy Grail.
yeah,
People have fun in a religious faction's name.
Yeah, it just reminds me of people just fighting different.
I wonder if that's what the game was trying to go for. Because, I mean, there was a lot of religion in this game from their whatnot.
Well, he had some god that they called
Andraste.
yeah, Androxus.
I think it was Andraste, and then there was the Maker. Andraste was like their version of Jesus. It was some woman who sacrificed herself for the greater good. And then there was the Maker, who apparently created everything.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like it's like more closer to war and religion type. So if you put it that way,
Yeah. But I mean, compared to some games too, like some games are just so flat out of reality, like Borderlands.
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Borderlands seemed realistic up to an extent, but then you see all these places and all these creatures.
At least they're humans, though.
Yeah, at least they're humans. So, I mean, compared to those type of games, I think this is strongly more based in reality than some of them. But for the most part, like you said, you could still not see existing in type of reality that we have.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the creativity of the story, which you did miss out on a lot of. Ish. You got the gist of it. So they had 3 games to create, expand, and develop their past and I mean, that's the first thing with their creativity. I mean, from what you saw how much lore they have. There's like thousands of books to read. I know there's books that you can buy in real life to read. Like they've really taken their time to craft this world's past, which helps to create its future.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's honestly, in my opinion, one of the greatest creativities you could do to a series. Not just be like, hey, this is Borderlands. Here's a little bit of info. Just kill things.
Yeah.
This is like if you took every piece of lore from Dragon Age 1 through 3, read every book, watched every movie. This would feel like its own universe.
Well, see, it makes you feel like you're fighting something for them.
That's true.
Whatnot. Like, it actually feels like it tries to give it a purpose with all the extra things, like those extra things. But everything else, the actual story.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of getting at, is the fact that they've taken the time to invest in the past, so that while you're playing its future, you're invested in what you're doing, and I do like that. I mean, a lot of games, like if you could get lore, a lot of lore, the game would be a lot better, right? All right, if you played the previous 2, you can definitely be more invested in this universe. If not, then the world can still be enjoyed and lots of stuff to absorb. So obviously you haven't played 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you would have been like, oh, I know this, I know that, I know about the mate. I mean, you would have been invested in this world more.
Yeah.
But like you said, you already kind of feel like you do kind of get invested in it regardless, which again proves the point of they really took time to craft the lore so that you could feel like you're in this.
Well, they pretty much recap it anyway. They brought that guy back. The other one.
True, yeah, they brought Hawk back from 2.
I mean, they already explained everything.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, they brought a lot back, too. Like, I know a lot of people were upset with Dragon Age 2 because it only hinted at what happened in number 1, but 3 kind of was like, hinted a lot stronger and brought back a few things one and two. Now, albeit it's not no Mass Effect, and I think that's what people judge this game. Mass Effect took all your choices from 1 and 2, and it affected 2 and 3.
Yeah.
As where Dragon Age is kind of like, well, yeah, this thing happened, and maybe this person is alive, but it's not going to affect our story too much. Alright. And the bond that can be created is more powerful than the other Dragon Age. Because of the fact that, like you said, you feel like you're in the means of the maker. You have this army. You have these moments with people where you play card games and stuff. So your bond with them feels a lot more stronger. However, I personally feel that the relationships differ, good, both, and bad. Like, there's for a guy at least. I'm not counting the gay relationship. So there are, I think, Iron Bull and Dorian.
Oh.
For the guys, your choices are Cassandra, and Josephine. You don't get a chance at Sarah, which, granted, she's too weird. I wouldn't want anyway.
And isn't she a lesbian?
And she's 11. That's why you can't go for her. But one, I felt like there was no choices.
Yeah. Well, they die.
I don't die. Of course you'd say that. Well, see, here's the thing. Cassandra seems like too much of a butch and a hard ass at first.
Yeah.
But if you actually do date her, you do realize she does have a girl side and that she can be pretty romantic. Especially the ending credits, where she's to the DLC. In the book that the dwarf wrote, and she's mimicking everybody's voices, and she gets to herself, and at the end she's like, I forget his name now, but she's like, dwarf, I'm in the book, and I'm just like, oh my god. Or there's Josephine, who is sweet.
Yeah, kind of awkward, but...
Awkward, but you don't really get as many scenes with her.
Well, see, she seems so invested in her family.
She does.
Every single time she's talking, her blah, 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 my family. Blah, 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 blah. Not, oh, I love you.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Dragon Age 1 didn't have many choices either. You had a choice between Liliana, who was the spy master, and Morgana, who shows up later in this game. But I think their characters were more fleshed out. Plus, there is sex scenes, and I don't mean nudity sex scenes. Dragon Age brought in nudity, which was surprising. But to be fair, it's only with, like, your character, the lesbian, Sarah, and Cassandra.
Yeah.
But I feel like that the relationships really don't build up in this.
That's when you look at both the girls and be like, I'm going. The other guy is hotter anyway.
Dorian?
He's hotter than any of them.
Dorian is a pretty good guy. I like his...
Go and get.
Well, there is Iron Bull. I mean, although he's a Quinari,
he's big though.
He's big, but he's built too.
Yeah,
well, see, and I've watched the romance about it, and I've really got to show you the romance. But there's one point where the whole party walks into your room because something important happens, and you're having coitus with Iron Bull, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They look down, and I'm like, "Oh my god, how did that fit in you?"
Oh.
And Dragon Bull. And Iron Bull makes, like, this quip that just made me laugh beyond all. Like, seriously, the guys are the place to be. I'm not gay. I'm not gonna be with the guys. But it seems like they put more time in the gay relationships than they did the straight relationships. So if you want to have a fun time, go gay or lesbian, apparently.
That is where all the freaky...
So, what are your thoughts on the entire creativity of the story? Ben?
Well, I like all the moves, like, either the arrow guys, what are they?
I think they are called archers, rogues.
Rogues. Yeah.
You like rogues.
I love rogues.
So do I.
Love the freaking So I love the bow and arrow, but I also kind of like,
The mage.
yeah, I like the powers, and I like they definitely kind of remind me a lot of. But yeah, all in all, definitely took time for the story. Lots and lots and lots.
Yeah, even the side quests that you really don't
Yeah.
like, if nothing else, it makes the game longer and invests you more into the universe by accomplishing.
Oh yeah, no, they all kind of build. But all in all, they they did pretty good. All the
Yeah.
the dragons were cool. Colors, different powers they had. Pretty.
Oh, I love the dragon colors and the patterns that they put on them.
Like I don't even want to just.
I know, right? And one of the achievements is to kill 10 high dragons. You go up to it and you're just like, it's sleeping. It's not trying to hurt anybody. Why am I a dickhole?
Yeah, it's like it only attacks you because you woke it up.
You deserve to die at that
Exactly.
point.
Yeah, the creativity.
That's good. Now, I will agree with you that through all the Dragon Ages, my very first playthrough, I always played as a rogue. And I played as an elf. I played as an elf rogue in the first one, and I played as a rogue elf in the third one. Because in the third one, or the second one, you're stuck as a human. But I was still a rogue. Rogues are my favorite. But elves were too until the secrets are revealed that are revealed in the game. Once you get to the end of the game and you learn the secret behind the elves, I didn't want to play as an elf in this playthrough. Even though really it's not their fault. Some of their faults. But for this game, and I'll go into it, the reason why I didn't choose a rogue, a Rolf, was because Qunari are frowned upon by humans and a lot. And then mages are frowned upon by everybody. Nobody likes a mage. And that's what really was the conflict of Dragon Age 2 and led into 3. In fact, everything's been building up to 3 with the with the mages. And so, and if you're a Talva Shah, well, I can't remember. I can't believe that's the one word I remember. If you're a Talva Shah for Qunari, that means that you don't follow the Kun or Kun, and so you're an outcast. But if you're a mage, they basically turn you into a slave. So I figured, what a better way to play than is the two most hated things in the game: a mage, a Rolf, a mage, and a Qunari. And really, it did make for some interesting choices throughout the game. I do agree with you that I do enjoy the rogue the best. So I think that would have been more in gameplay or controls, but an elf rogue. Yep, that was my favorite up to an extent. I'm an elf rogue.
A dwarf rogue.
A dwarf rogue.
That's practically that.
It is. I can't remember his name. Like, I played with him for 2 Dragon Age games. I think I would remember his name.
I hardly remember anybody's.
Yeah, Cassandra, Liliana, Josephine, Dorian, Blackwall. No, I just can't remember the dwarf. That is sad.
Dwarf.
Dwarfism. Okay, I'm going to look up his name quickly. Well, you tell me what you think the Dragon Age was rated for the final score.
Oh.
Because I know what mine is, but I want to hear yours without me influencing.
Well, it's kind of hard to say because all the side quests aren't really nice.
Right.
Was...
But you can skip all of it. There's barely any side quests that you have to actually do. And on easier difficulties, you can still win, but you need to do every side quest in the harder difficulty. You might not need it. But you were rocking it on Nightmare. I'm having trouble, and she's rocking it.
Yeah. Yeah, like definitely. I liked the different weapons on it. I mean, that was terrible.
Yeah, I can't seem to pull off a warrior either.
They
Now
gotta keep up their.
I can't. Yeah, their shield, and
Yeah.
I can pull them off if I'm playing as somebody else, but not as me.
I just start fighting and don't realize that my full shield's coming off. It's bad. Like I start to die out of that.
Oh, forgot about Toll too.
Oh.
Forgot about Solus as well. Varric.
Nah. Just because he has a name that shouldn't be on a dwarf.
Touche.
It sounds like Barrick, like a big muscular guy. He's like a tiny little
Yeah.
thingy. But I definitely will say that it did make you connect in ways. And though sometimes it was like terribly boring, especially to watch.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Like watching it, unless you're really invested in watching games, the game's good. But I mean, if you're just someone who likes to watch somebody play something every once in a while for fun, this is definitely not the game.
No, I would have took any. But I'm very hard to say. But I like the dragons. I like the idea of fighting the dragons, fighting the giants.
Oh yeah, the Giants. Forgot about those.
They
You're not too far from what I actually put. So, I agree with everything you say. I played the other two Dragon Age games. I think this one ranks... Now, see, okay, let me actually say this first. A lot of people hated number 2. They hated number 2 because of the maps. Because a lot of the maps were the same map, but different areas are closed off, different areas are open. I personally enjoyed 2 a lot. 1 was okay. I thought 2 was great. I think 3 is somewhere in the middle. So I gave it 2 ratings. 1 for if you played 1 through and 2, and then I gave it a 3rd ranking if it was a standalone game. So as the sequel, I gave it a 7. Because like I said, I thought 2 was amazing. I thought it was better. I thought 1 was okay, but I think 3 does 1. Now, if this was just a standalone game, the first in the series with all this lore, and you were someone who enjoyed learning backstories and reading all... I mean, there's probably at least 10 hours worth of books you can find and read. So you can really learn about this. I would give this game an 8.5. And, I mean, really as a standalone, I mean, this was your first Dragon Age, and you gave it...
This is practically...
Exactly, and you gave it an 8. So my rating doesn't feel that bad off from what I'm saying.
Well, the 8.5 would like... by that, because I wouldn't know... It'd be like your rating.
Yeah.
So you just gave it a 0.5.
I gave it a... Yeah. And that was because I did enjoy playing the game. I mean, you did too, but watching it at the same time, and you can really tell that you really didn't put your thoughts into the rating for them. But, I mean, like I said, characters are all right. The romances aren't so great. That what gets a little point. Nightmare difficulty, yeah. I mean, I'm not really counting it, but if you play on a harder difficulty, it's really more challenging, both fun and be a nuisance, especially if you don't have a good character build. You so. If you don't know how to use strategies or combo stuff, this game is difficult for you. And I think it's the gameplay mechanics that makes it lower. Because this is a game that if you can't figure out how to work characters or team up, you're going to have a hard time. But otherwise, I think everything else about the game is fantastic, including the music. I love the music. Alright, so that just leaves this little one. This just leaves a few statistics. For my playthrough, total time played was 19 days, 7 hours and 24 minutes. Or if you don't know how to put that into hours, I played this game for 463 hours and 24 minutes. That includes my very first playthrough. That includes my Achievement Perfectionist playthrough, which will eventually be on the show, as I did 100% this. And this includes the playthrough on the channel. That means 463 hours, 19 days. But we played this game for a whole year because it was only like 4 to 5 times. This was the longest game. Alright, I slayed 3,143 enemies by the Inquisition single player. I collected and gained 284,713 gold in all single player campaigns, which honestly doesn't seem like much.
Yeah.
But it is so hard to get gold in this game. That is quite a bit, actually. And in a single blow, I dealt 16,983 damage to a single enemy.
Wow.
That is pretty impressive. And those are some of the stats for this playthrough. So, that brings Dragon Age to a close. That means next episode, chronologically, we'll be starting the Let's Play of Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary on Legendary with all skulls on. However, since, this is recorded out of chronological, we eventually fail at that, and it's just Legendary. So come back next time, chronologically, as we start up the Let's Play and Season 14 of Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. Until then, remember, keep gaming, never give up, and Dragon Age, you did alright. I don't have much to say.